All right. All right. Oh, you know what? I want to do something. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop share again here for what? Never mind. I want to talk about. We'll come back to this, but I want to take a second and just listen to uh, the time that I have today. I wanted to make a point about why we do these. You know, the spirit of being featured. It's taking 15 minutes to be on deck for NLWBC. Do it every week. Well, it's fun. It's helped to introduce each other, but I also want to make it valuable and help each of us teach the others, especially the other active members, how to introduce us and what we do. And because the purpose of being in these kind of networks is, well, we have some fun, love each other, look out for each other, but make no mistake, we want to help each other make money. We're a profit-focused organization. See that word profit in there, as well as other words like connection. And that's the purpose of this. So among the things that I personally want to do, and I help all of you do, is to be seen and heard, but heard properly understood. And so we want to take this time, and I want to do it for myself. I feel like in the past, I'll confess that I've probably maybe been too shy. I've talked too quick and just get it over with before I bore somebody. But that's more a function of a previous marriage and people. You know, I talk too much. Wave my hands.
Hey, BV.
Yeah.
Did you say you were supposed to be sharing something right now?
I was gonna, but it's is it? What are you seeing? Nothing but
I'm just seeing the grid.
Seeing you.
Close enough, because I wanted to talk before I share. So
Okay,
that's all
cool.
right. I'll reshare. Back to the point. I want to come back to why we have this 15 minutes. It's not just for shits and giggles, but to help us be effective communicators. The color yellow in the middle of my screen, pow, it gets attention, right? We're going to help you. That's Yuri, by the way. That didn't mean to punch anybody, but we want to help people lean in and go, what? Tell me more about that. And so that's the kind of thing we want to do, and be effective communicators so that we're, again, seen, heard, and understood properly. And so that's some things I want to make use of my time and be effective with it. Every time I think back, I think JD remembers in previous messages, there's something that I had presented for the third time. And one of our alumni, Dean, after the meetings, oh, I didn't know you did buy-sell agreements. And I, in a loving way, cussed him out. Motherfucker, I presented this 3 times. You listening to me or not? So, right? So I say that because it's also right. We want to bring attention to people and help them hear us. So what I would appreciate from you guys is to, I want constructive feedback and ask clarifying questions, those kinds of things. And I would like for all of us to do that for each other when the others present, to help them get better. What's the mission behind Thriving Past 50 for us? Well, how is that different from whatever, those kinds of things, so we get the point across and get better at it, so that we're better communicators, better understanders, and we're more profitable, right? Those are things we want to do. So
great, clear point, Brian. Good one.
So before I share the presentation, I'm going to show a short story about a guy named Peter, who's a current client. And when I first met Peter, he's somebody who just went to worked at a technology company, and was introduced by another, professional associate, and said that this might be a good fit. Met Peter.
Are you recording again, Brian? I'm sorry.
Still recording. Yeah.
Okay, super. Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me. So met Peter, seemed like a good fit. He's a guy who just went to work, and he technology did his job, but he didn't pay attention to what his retirement, he didn't think about it. Just went to work. Pretty common thing. Peter's not my age, he's a little bit younger, but not a whole lot younger. Anyway, and Peter, among the things he had was he would get stock grant or get issued stock, and he didn't make any decisions, didn't do anything. Not uncommon for people to get 401k contributions. I don't know what to do. Well, I just go to work. I don't know what to do. Well, so Peter, after a number of years, had too much of one thing, one particular stock, which would go up and down quite a bit. Well, he thought, man, maybe I should get some professional help, because I'm a smart guy, but I don't know what to do about this. So anyway, so we did. Peter's a good guy, and we could do that. And as Scott can attest, that if you to rebalance and diversify a concentrated position, kind of a geeky phrase, that's labor intensive to do that, and you got to manage risk and do things. But after a couple of years, we've done some things, and it was time for the next review with Peter. And by the way, he's still a current client, but I started off the review, say, hey, Peter, I just want to let you know we got about 30 minutes, but before we even get going, I'm going to tell you, as your financial advisor, you have my permission to have a bad attitude at work. What are you talking about, Brian? Peter, we took some of what you did and we put it in a fixed indexed annuity, and that thing alone, we can turn on a stream of income in the future when you're ready. And that thing alone is going to cover your costs, dude. You're going to be able to pay your expenses, and you can travel. We got all these other investments. That's going to make it even better. But dude, you're going to be fine. You can retire anytime you want. They can't mess with you. Stream of income. Well, Peter didn't do a very good job of paying attention to the next 20 minutes. He pretty much giggled after that because I thought, oh, he just felt better, right? So
Good.
that's an example. I'm going to come back to the Peter story later, but I wanted to talk about, that's an example of kind of some of the things we just help people exhale. And Scott and I work together on different layers, and I've had him here on purpose because we might chime in toward the end about the kind of things we do together to educate people. But I say that because often people think of folks like us as just, hey, let's get us a better race car, get us better return and lower cost. And they shop like they're shopping for race cars or performance cars. And my goal is that retirement income. That's my focus. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to start to share a screen again. Thanks for those who reminded me that I was or wasn't sharing. Am I sharing the screen? Yeah. Oh, no, wrong one. Well, you're back here. All right, we're seeing, bringing your attention to my email signature for a reason, because while it's boring to look at, I have found out that people don't click links, people don't look at it, they're not paying attention, they just look at the email. But there's some reason we put some stuff in there, that I put stuff in there, and I want to bring attention to, for instance, even the phone number. I have my cell phone number I've had for years, that's Arizona based, the 480 thing. Bring attention to the office number, 206-4800 tax, the letters TAX, spelled at 829. And I put that in there for a reason. I'll show you why in a second. And I'm also going to show you my primary website, Living Benefits Experts, Vaughn Financial, and these bullets at the bottom. What are the kind of things that I do? Living Benefits Life Insurance. What if people understand life insurance, but what if you don't die? What if you could use some of that money to pay for some chronic or serious injury? Tax-free retirement is really something that's next in line, because like that Peter example, how do we create some retirement, some streams of income where you don't have that part, you don't have to worry about taxes. But if you got a mortgage, you got a business like we all do, or you have some estate issues, those are things that I help people address. And that's stuff we focus on. And we'll come back to the retire in 5 stuff a little bit later. So this is why I wanted to bring your attention to that. At the advice of AMP, you got to have a website you can yell across a room and people would get it. And that's why we created this vanity. That's my phone number, my office phone number. Hey, it's 206-4800 tax. Boom. It flashes straight through to my Vaughn Financial website, but that's why I have that in my phone number. Not everybody caught that, but I don't want to just make it, was that 89-point font there? That's why we do that. The Living Benefits Experts website, I want to take a second and show you what's there that people may not have gone to. This is a screenshot of it, but if you go to the top over the quick links, the first one goes to my home, my Vaughn Financial site. The next click is to learn a little bit, those guys who want to figure out how to pay for your whole retirement in 5 years and crush it. It's not for everybody. It's something I worked on. Do you need a will? This takes us right to the Legal Shield resource. I'm an extension of Anthony's team, and that because what that works is just great. But I have NLWBC. I talk about you guys, man. My clients, other people I meet, I tell a lot of people about NLWBC, and I encourage those of you who have the wherewithal to include this community in your resource. We're all an extension of what you do. Steve Mason is a weightlifter, professional weightlifter, and he's got 19 other people on a team that he can refer to. And utilizing NLWBC.org, you're encouraged to do that. Also going to bring attention to this, what's in the middle there, the tax-free retirement. This website, Living Benefits Expert, there's at the center, there's 5 videos, and I'm going to let you know now that they're kind of cartoonish by design. And I'm going to tell you another short story. When I was in the JP Morgan suit and tie world, fancy glass offices and cufflinks and all of that, and one of the early meetings I had with my business partner, not Scott, different guy, Early on, he tended to, in the early days, he thought he had to convince people he was smart. Scott and I know people assume that because we got gray whiskers, so we don't need to work so hard at that. This guy's a little bit younger, and he used a lot of big words. And I remember the two of us are meeting the clients together, and I saw Mr. and Mrs. Client. Their foreheads are just crunched together, and like, what? I could tell they weren't feeling it. And I said, "Hey, Brent, hold on a second. Mr. and Mrs. Client, by the way, these people are 60-year-old. He's an attorney thinking about retirement, so they're capable, high-income people, but they didn't understand the big words he was using." I said, "Hey, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to restate what he just said, but I'm going to make it like at a 5th grade level, maybe even a 3rd grade level." They both go, "Oh, Brian, that would be awesome. Thank you." They appreciated that I'm going to just break it down. My point being, these kind of cartoonish videos, including some things I'll talk about later, they're informative, they're effective, and they're cartoonish by design. And I want you to get a sense of that. And we'll talk about that later. But tax-free retirement, I want to bring extra attention. What does that mean? If you have money that you can spend, you can pull from accounts, and for that chunk, you don't have to worry about taxes. You'll see what I mean later, but I want to bring those words, tax-free retirement. And what I'm trying to do is to put some words in your brains very deliberately. This is my version of police tape yellow, like Yuri's doing. This is big letters, big font, some words I want you to remember if you talk about what Brian does and how he and Scott work together. Cool? Anybody? Okay, we got one nodding up and down. So this is a super simple example, but among the kinds of questions to that point, we ask when we're meeting people, well, how much of what you've accumulated, how much of that's accessible tax-free? Well, there's a couple, this is oversimplified, but a couple of buckets of money. There's things that people might have accumulated that they haven't paid taxes on, like they say they got a traditional IRA or they got something in a 401k. Pretty commonly, they haven't paid tax on that yet. And there's other things that are funded post-tax. And among the things Scott and I help people do is maybe reposition some of that. And it's not necessarily easy. You got to be strategic and be mindful of, the tax implications. So that's among the kind of things we do and help people have enough in the proverbial pink bucket that's the taxes have already been paid. And among the things I talk about, hey, income taxes are on sale now. I don't know that they're going to get any lower than this in our lifetime. So what do we do about it? This is, again, among the kinds of things that Scott and I help people do. Tax diversification. Do you have enough in a tax-free bucket? Boring concept, but that's one of those things we look at. We're not yet talking about the specific investment, but how it's treated by the IRS can make a huge difference with people. So anybody have any questions before I move to the next topic here? All right.
Brian, I know you spoke about Peter's annuity, and what really got my attention when you talked about it, you said, Peter, this is money you can count on. There was a way that you spoke about it that was so direct, and it wasn't about 401ks or IRAs or what. But anyway, I just appreciated the clarity of that message.
Yeah, that in that particular case, that piece was a fixed index annuity, and some of the things we do are indexed. There's a couple of ways we use indexed products. That is, they only go up in value, and maybe they'll quit going up. But if the market on which that growth is based, if that market goes down, these products don't. So they're indexed, and then they lock in. So they lock in and keep going up. And we had done that with Peter with a chunk of what he has, so that he didn't have to worry about it. It was never going to, if anything, it's going to get better, but it will never get worse than it is today. Whereas his stock was bouncing around all over the place. So that's just an example. So
that's great. Good, important clarification. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for asking. All right. So among the things, another phrase I'd like you to hear in it's not the police tape yellow, but it's whatever police tape pink, wealth creation using life insurance. What are you talking about? Well, there's a way to use life insurance as an asset class that has a lot of these benefits. I don't need to read them all, but bring in particular attention to the tax-free income. There's ways to do this that wealthy people, almost all of them do that. Gazillionaires do use life insurance because you can pull from cash value life insurance the way you pull from your home equity line of credit or a reverse mortgage or something like that. You take money out of a home equity line of credit, you put that money in the bank. You don't have to call the IRS and say, hey, I just put 10 grand for my house value. There are ways to do the same kind of thing with life insurance, and it's commonly done by wealthy people, and Scott and I help people do this. They're maybe not wealthy yet, but and it doesn't have to be just for rich people. These things can be done for, you know, if you're just making a living, but you can pay yourself. These can scale at all sizes. So, and we also have strategies. If you're doing pretty well, there are things like this, and this wealth creation using life insurance that can super accelerate it, and you can crush your whole retirement in 5 years. And ask me more about that if that makes sense. That's for families, households making a couple $100,000 a year. So this is where we kind of dovetail with the jet here. In our conversations, we ask, are all these things taken care of? Have you addressed this stuff? And the kinds of estate planning kind of conversations are the things that Scott and I help people address, whether it's just having the right beneficiaries on your retirement accounts or your life insurance. But some of these other words, you see some things in here. Do you have a will? Do you need power of attorney? This is where Jessica is going to go deeper on some of these kind of estate planning issues. But the estate planning conversation are the kinds of things that both Jessica, Simone, and Scott and I all talk about, and there's some overlap by design. So, and I bring that to your attention to mention those 4 people, because when I'm referring to the team, they're people who meet me in coffee shops or wherever, and I want people to understand it's not just Brian in his PJs doing something. We have resources. We've got the NLWBC team, but specifically, I introduce people. So Scott's here because he is, when we meet people and it's time for creative investment portfolio management. By the way, is it CIPM? Anyway, that's not a credential. This is a way to describe what Scott does for people, where we get into some nuanced stuff and get some creative investments that are in there. And Scott can chime in some more about that. But also a couple other faces you guys recognize. That Simone, when we're doing, if people don't already have a tax planner or a CPA, I'd love to introduce Simone. I've got some other people, but she's my preferred referral partner for those kind of things, because she understands the stuff that Scott and I talk about. She knows all the words and language, and we talk about, here's some ideas and here's the tax advantages. She nods her head up and down. And if she's doing her tax planning, tax preparation, she can affect that improvement through the tax piece of that. And have I got a jet for you when it's time to really do estate planning? As I've said, Jessica's already been on a client meeting with me, and I'm intending that we make this a habit, because man, she was good. Like, we've been doing it for our whole life. So having the team, and then my specialty is that, like that Peter story. Hey, let's get a stream of income, man. Instead of just making this pile as fat as I can, what if we can get your retirement locked and loaded whenever that is? And the means to that is things like living benefits, life insurance, whether it's some of that wealth creation stuff. And that also can be this low-cost term insurance that has living benefits that can be turned into one of those wealth creation kinds of things. So they're not just for wealthy people. They're for, everybody needs something. If you've got a mortgage, you've got family, you've got people dependent on you, you've got a small business, there are ways we can use these strategies that all 4 of us offer to help you feel better about what you are and get you a giggle like Peter did after that meeting a couple of years ago.
Brilliant, Brian.
All right. Another phrase I want to put in here among the videos in that Living Benefits Experts is this business preservation. I think it's not something that's intuitive, and I wanted to find a better way to get this through to people. That why might somebody talk to me? How can Brian help with business preservation? And I'm going to play, this is like a 1 minute, an example of the cartoonish videos, but it makes a point. I wanted to share that, and I would appreciate feedback. So what I'm going to do is just play it for you real quick.
I think you need to set up the audio on that, BV.
Yeah, we got
are
no
you
sound.
serious?
Yeah.
So stop share, and then when you share screen again, there's a tick box in the lower left.
All right, thanks, brother. Stop share.
It's a cute little business dude, though.
Well, we'll come back. So thanks. I've already practiced this. So where's my okay, video?
So AMP, when you hit share screen, there should be a tick mark for audio.
Yes.
Okay.
It should say something like share sound
Yeah.
I thought I had it, man.
or
I
share
practiced this
audio.
episode. I'm looking at audio settings to speaker share sound.
No, just when you hit share screen, there should be a little checkbox in the lower left when you're picking what window to share. It should say like share windows audio or
share
share tabs.
screen. Multiple share. I guess I don't have that, man. Post on. All right. Well, never mind that. So I'm
You
going
can
back to
send the
share
link
screen.
out.
We'll skip the audio and I'll send it later because I want to make the point. So well, we'll come back to that. And really it's a 1 minute thing and I'll send it in a follow-up email that makes some of the points that how we protect against things. What are the things to think about your own retirement, how to use your business? Are you taking sufficient advantage of the things that business owners can do to plan for your retirement and your savings and your investments? And the IRS allows for that and stuff that Scott and I can help you take advantage of. So I want to get people to understand that business preservation is among the kind of things we help people do. So come back. All right, so we'll just wrap it up here. But this concept, how to get to the zero tax bracket, that tax-free income, and transform your retirement. I'm going to give away a book. It's not a exciting book, and you don't have to read the whole book. It's like a 2-hour whole read. But I'm going to give you either the hard copy or a Kindle version, whichever you prefer. And we're gonna pick the winner. Hold on. Using Wheel of Names.
Wow.
All right. Do I click right here? Yeah. All right. Let's see. I was trying to just see who's in here. Do I have Allison? Who else came in here? Oh, Pam came in.
We can't see it.
I did a stop share instead of the screen. So, okay. So you can practice this a couple times and it's still not enough. So share screen.
Always have to be prepared for something to fail in a public setting.
Right.
Yeah.
Says the broadcaster.
Yeah.
Yes. I never like to go live. That's why.
All right. Who else is, I'll try to get people as they came in here. Yuri's in there, Pam, Allison, Dougie Fresh. Do we have all our names? Must be present to win. Jessica, Pam, Veronica. I'm not including Scott.
Gotta get Scott in there. Scott might need this book.
Scott's our, yeah. All right. Here we go.
Yay.
MP.
MP. All right, I'll follow up Pam with the. Well, you can't even hear the. This thing makes a little woo sound. So anyway, close that. That's too bad.
I knew it would be me. I've been waiting for this. I'd like to thank the Academy.
Speech.
Oh, never mind.
Had a speech. Brian, you should have made the sound yourself.
Well, I can certainly do that. So I'll pull the trombone and the guitar out and make all the sounds. So
Good.
all right, so we'll wrap it up there. I probably went over my 15 minutes because of my technology issues. So again, what we're trying to do is make this valuable each time each of you present. When you do that, it makes a difference, and the rest of us want to help you get other folks to lean in. Steve, when he first pulled out his guitar the first time in the car, and then the second time he talked about music and music, song composition and business connections.
Yeah.
There's some good nuggets in there, right? So we want to help each other with good nuggets that are effective and help
Huge.
us make each other more effective communicators. And to the extent you guys can help me do that by giving me constructive feedback, I would appreciate it. So that's my story.
Brian, thanks for showing us your business depth. We know